Hi, what's going on, yo? This is something new I want to start doing here on this page. Just some, I guess, some Southern political talk. I'm mainly going to be diving into the Alabama gubernatorial election, the Alabama governor election coming up in just a little shy of a year on my 26th birthday next year, on November 3rd of 2026, here in the state of Alabama. We will vote for a new governor, okay? Um, and I'm going to start talking about developments regarding that and some Alabama politics and things like that. And I anticipate this will bring some new viewers to my page, which would be great. So for those people who are new and you're just finding out who I am, I'll go and just briefly introduce myself a little bit. I'm Samuel Barrett. I'm 25 years old. I just turned 25. Today's November 11th. Today's Veterans Day. So I thank all our veterans for our service, allowing us to keep our freedom, because that freedom is certainly not free. So that was 8 days ago. A week ago yesterday, I turned 25 years old, which is fantastic. And most of my work here on YouTube has been baseball, sports related. I've done some baseball work. I've written 2 baseball books. Umpire Diary, my personal journey experiences beginning an umpire career is the first one. Details my journey beginning my baseball umpire career, which I'm still active in. I went to the premier umpire school in the world, the Winston Umpire School, twice. There's my 2 diplomas from there. All right. And there's my junior college degree back there. Okay. So that's the first one. It's my day-by-day accounts of going through the Winston Umpire School, as well as day-by-day through the league that I was assigned to that summer because I did well enough in the school. Right. This was published last July. And then this September, so just a couple of months ago, I published this book, Orange Crush, The Neglected 1971 Houston Astros. This is kind of a nerdy research study of mine, studying the Astros of the late 60s and early 70s, because I'd heard a lot about how much better they should have been had it not been for some poor trades and other organizational management. The Astros being in Houston, my father's side of the family originates from South Texas, so that's where that comes into play. As for me, I've lived in Alabama my entire life. My father's lived in Alabama for the majority of his, and my mother and sister have also lived in Alabama all their life. Right. So that's a little bit about me. So I guess we'll just kind of introduce the 2026 governor race as it lines up now. Again, November 3rd of 2026. That's when it's going to come out. Matter of fact, I might try to share my screen a little bit. Let's see here. Wouldn't show that window, I suppose. Okay. So I'm just looking at the Wikipedia page right now. I know this isn't always the most reliable page, but just look at this page right here. For the state of Alabama, obviously Kay Ivey is the incumbent governor right now. She's the current governor. She's the oldest governor in the state of Alabama, and I've long said that I think it's time for her to go. So she's turned out she can't run again. I think that's good. I don't think she's done a super terrible job. There's been some issues that I've disagreed with. And I didn't like her putting in the mask mandate in 2020 during the virus. And that was the execution of Nathaniel Woods, who was just a co-perpetrator in the deadliest day in Birmingham Police Department history. Nathaniel was executed for leading the officers into the room where somebody else shot dead the officers. And to my knowledge, that other guy is still on death row. Kerry, I don't even remember his name. I should know. Nathaniel. I bet I can look it up real quick. Nathaniel Woods. Yeah, Nathaniel Woods, executed in 2020, early 2020. Matter of fact, I wonder if we can find out more information about the. Here we go. In 2004, let's see, what's the other guy's name? Kerry Spencer? Is that it? Yeah, Kerry Spencer. Kerry Spencer is actually the one who shot the officers. Nathaniel Woods just, to my knowledge, led the officers into the apartment or into the room where that happened. Yet, to my knowledge, Kerry Spencer is still out and about, whereas Nathaniel Woods is dead. If anybody should have gotten the death penalty, it should have been Kerry, and not necessarily saying I disagree with putting to death Nathaniel Woods, but it definitely shouldn't have been before Kerry Spencer. So I don't get that. Cav reminds me of a old church lady that all the kids and youth despise because she just seems uppity, but all of the adults in the church seem to love her, and anybody who says anything bad about her, they just don't listen to them. They care more about loyalty than they care about the truth. That's my thoughts on Kay Abby. Okay, so I think it's time for her to go. Seems like a nice enough lady, but as Alabama, we can do better. I've also been a belief that the state of Alabama, we can do better than our primary focal point being, matter of fact, hold on. Instead of just explaining it, let me try to show you. I'm going to just try to show you the back in 2023 when there was a Republican debate held in Tuscaloosa. All right. And opening of it, credits, but the opening little promo video, I want to show you what that looks like. Okay. So that's what I'm going to show you real quick. Okay. Okay. See what we do.
Faith and college football. But on this night, the final showdown of the year moves to a new stage on America's newest cable news network. 40 days before the Iowa caucuses, millions of votes are still up for grabs. And 4 candidates are fighting for every last one of them. Who could catch fire and shock the political world?
2024 is do or die for us. We're not getting a mulligan on this.
Governor Ron DeSantis.
We have to have a new generational leader.
Former Ambassador Nikki Haley.
You're either pro-American or you're anti-American. That is the choice we face.
Vivek Ramaswamy.
We deserve better character in the White House.
Former Governor Chris Christie. Live on News Nation, news for all America. The lights are on. The field is set. It's game day in Alabama. And who knows what the tide will roll in.
Okay, let's stop there. That's all I need to say. So the selling point of Alabama is college football, according to that clip right there. That's what everybody else in the rest of the country that was watching that debate would recognize. In Alabama, in a state that has low cost of living, state that has a lot of history in regard to civil rights, particularly. I mean, you can hardly take 3 steps in downtown Montgomery without running into some form of civil rights history, whether you realize it or not. You've got cities like Mobile, Montgomery, Birmingham, Huntsville. You've got 3 of the fastest growing areas in the country: Gulf Shores, Orange Beach, Auburn, Opelika, and Huntsville, Madison. Okay. I saw a projection one point that maybe by 2030, Huntsville, Alabama could be the third largest city in the country by population. I don't know. That may be a little bit of a stretch, and I could have that a little bit wrong, but that'd be great. And the state was so much promised, and I'm not going to get into all of it right now, but the state was so much potential and with so much history and with so much good about it right now. We can do better than our selling point being the hyping up and idolatry of our young people. I'm talking about specifically the young people who are essentially DEI/affirmative action hires into our colleges just to play a sport. When we have young folks who are truly educated, or at least truly want to be educated, and they want to do something well with the education that they can get at a college, which, again, most people don't need a college education. Most people just don't. But the people who do, they could go to these big colleges: University of Alabama, Auburn University, UAB, AUM, UAH, South Alabama, whatever. I can go on and on. Okay? But no, the priority is being given to athletes. And it's not like these athletes are meeting the same qualifications that the scholars are. I mean, we know this. We know this. We know that the athletes aren't as well spoken. We know they're not as intelligent. We just know this. And we got to have somebody who's got the guts to say it, who's not going to be shy. They're taking the spots of people who more so deserve it. So if 2025 is going to be the year that we restore meritocracy in the country, it needs to get into our colleges as well, to where we are bringing in people who truly deserve the spots in our schools, and not just say, oh, this person can play a sport, so we're going to ignore the people who actually meet the qualifications to come into our colleges and get scholarships. We're going to bring in somebody. If you can run faster, jump high, we'll bring you in. And somebody who has the smarts, has the intelligence, has the desire for the education, because the athletes don't want that either. They just want to play, right? They qualify for scholarship, for tuition and fees. That's what I got when I went to Chattahoochee Valley Community College, okay? That's what I got. Okay? I got friends of mine, okay? Not as smart as I am. I'm saying this as humbly as possible, but as straightforward as possible too. Look at me, look at them. They don't speak as well. They don't know as much. They don't have the memory I do. All right. And they get every dime paid to go to a big university. Tuition, fees, books, room, meals, probably per diem too. And then you see the college sports are allowing them to get paid, and you got the the name, image, and likeness stuff, which I've got some mixed views on that. It's disgraceful. So that's, one of the reasons. I don't know if you ever articulated this, but we all know Charlie Kirk said that college was a scam. That's my input into that conversation, that your college is not going to care about you. They're going to care about the sports. And the argument is, well, the sports is where they get their money. That's where they get the revenue in. But to me, that only makes it worse. So your focus is on just filling up your wallets, filling up your pockets, over developing the new generation of smarter, more intelligent young people into productive citizens of our society, both in Alabama and across the nation. That's your priority. So, as far as how this relates to the governor race, I did not vote for former Auburn University football coach Tommy Tuberville in 2020 to be a senator. I voted for Doug Jones. I should have left it blank because I didn't want Doug Jones to win. I should have just left it blank. Okay. If I had to do it again, I just wouldn't have, bubbled in a candidate there. I didn't vote for him then. I don't plan to vote for him next year. That's subject to change. But to me, the reason he won was because of his football name. He's continuing to profit both monetarily and with being given more power. He's continued to benefit from him, whether he knows it or not, putting down the young people in our state that truly want the education and would benefit the most from it, and instead want to pluck the retards, want to pluck okay, you're fat enough you can block for a quarterback. You're fast enough you can run with a football. You got good enough hands you can catch something. By the way, this isn't just football. It applies to other sports too. And again, I'm a baseball guy, okay? And yeah, I played my senior year of high school. I still umpire baseball, okay? I know something about it. And I filmed for my high school football team, my junior and senior of high school. Senior year, they won a state championship. I got my state championship ring sitting off screen over there. So I know some of the ins and outs, all right? And this isn't me being bitter over, I didn't get picked for some scholarship stuff. I don't care. I didn't care about that. I thought this even then. I didn't want to be recruited or anything like that, okay? Because I knew this is how it works, all right? Now, obviously, this doesn't apply to everybody. There are athletes that would meet the intellectual criteria anyways. And yes, there are people who aren't intelligent or don't meet cross criteria and aren't very athletic. So, it's not like it's universal, but it does happen a lot. So anyway, that's really my big view on education. It's not necessarily critical race theory being taught or LGBTQ content being taught in the classrooms, although those are things I can have discussions about as well. It's this form of affirmative action / DEI that doesn't get talked about at all. I don't understand how that doesn't get talked about. And probably because when you've got people like Tommy Tuberville going into public office and into government, they're incentivized to keep their mouth shut. So I'm not inclined to vote for Tommy Tuberville. But if we're looking at the candidates now, I'll go ahead and say I am definitely undecided at this point. Declared Republican candidates. Obviously, the Republican candidate for governor is going to be the candidate who's most likely to win. Tommy Tuberville has announced that he's running for governor, as well as Kim McPheeters, which says here, insurance agent and candidate for Alabama's 6th congressional district last year. Okay, those are the declared Republican candidates right now. I anticipate there being more. Absolutely. I'm keeping a close eye on that. Will Ainsworth, the guy who is the current lieutenant governor and who everybody thought was going to run, he declined. He has endorsed Tommy Tuberville. Linda Blanchard declined. Mo Brooks declined. Steve Marshall declined. And Rick Pate declined. Tommy Tuberville is the senior Alabama senator right now. Katie Brett, Alabama's junior senator, who gave the State of the Union response a couple of years ago, she has endorsed Tuberville, as you can see. There's all sorts of organizations and other people who have endorsed Tuberville. You see Nathaniel Ledbetter, he endorsed Will Ainsworth until he declined, then he shifted his endorsement to Tuberville. On the Democratic side, Doug Jones has publicly expressed interest, although I've not heard much about him other than that. Will Boyd and Jamel Brown, I think, are the big two names that are going to be candidates of the Democratic Party. Yolanda Flowers was the Democratic nominee for governor in 2022. She lost out to Kay Ivey, and she won a second term. Cheching Martin, candidate for governor 2022. I'm not too familiar with. I'm going to do more research on this, definitely, and I'm going to have more for y'all as I make more of these videos and content. I just wanted to introduce, a video like this to give me some momentum going. Right. Of course, general election, the projections put Alabama as being a solid Republican, which I think is great. But I'm hoping that we'll get some other Republican candidates. Hopefully, I can endorse one. I'm going to look into Kim McPheeters, see how he is. Can I look him up real quick? Let me try to put a name with a face. Let me see. Let's see if I can get what he looks like. Let's see. Okay. All right. Okay. So this is him. All right. That looks like him. Okay. All right. So now I have a name with a face. Okay. So anyway, this is about 20 minutes now. I'll probably just go ahead and try to wrap this up. Introduce myself a little bit. Introduce some of where my mind is going as far as this governor race goes, and what the layout looks like right now. Something I did find interesting. I'll try to show you. This is probably the last thing I'll show you. On Yellowhammer News, I saw this a while back. This was published on my mother's birthday last year, August 8th of 2024. Okay. So I'm going to share with you this picture. Okay. All right. So this is basically kind of a header photo of people who could likely be running for governor in 2026. All right. Will Ainsworth right here. Of course, he already declined. I need to put names and faces with this gentleman and this gentleman. Linda Blanchard, I think that's who that is. She declined. Randall Woodfin, the current mayor of Birmingham. That would be a big mistake. I don't think he's the absolute worst, but he's probably not extremely far from it. Doug Jones, of course, here. I wouldn't be in favor of him. Tom Matoville, of course, is the front-running candidate among both political parties to win. But then this fella right here, Bruce Pearl, former Auburn University basketball coach. I could see him if he were to throw his name into the arena. No pun intended. I think he could make some headways. Another sports guy, another Auburn guy. And, of course, Auburn's 35 minutes from where I'm sitting right now here in Phoenix City. That'd be interesting. I'd have to see. I will say, whether it be Tom Matoville, Bruce Pearl, any combination of those two, if there are people in the state who are Alabama fans, such as my mother, but if there are Alabama fans who would not vote for one of them solely because they coached at Auburn University, that's a despicable reason not to vote for somebody. Okay. There may be people who say that it's despicable. I wouldn't vote for somebody because they were a football coach or something like that. I also just really despise the sport of football. I can talk about that another time. That was a big essay that I wrote my first semester of college. I can share that here sometime. Let me know if y'all want to see that. But I can already tell we can go into a lot of detail here. All right. So I'm going to go and wrap this up. Appreciate y'all watching. Again, my name is Samuel Barrett. Hoping to get into some more political talk, particularly in regard to the state of Alabama and its upcoming governor race. And I'm hoping that as this gains more traction, I'll be going out and seeing candidates, and who knows what will happen. I know there's some young folks who have been doing work with Turning Point Action and other entities here in the state that would be great to meet and talk with, some of which have appeared on national news stations. It'd be cool to meet them and see where things go. All right. So I appreciate y'all. I'll see y'all next time.